This week, I'm joined by kicker Michael Badgley. We got to talk about playoffs inside Ford Field, the atmosphere. Your head coach, Dan Campbell, said it was electric Sunday night. How would you describe it?
That was an experience you pictured Detroit playoff football to be like, to be totally honest. I mean, you walk in there, like we were kind of talking about, 2 hours beforehand. It was packed. People were already chanting. They were just excited. I know it was cold outside, but that building was insane.
As you're warming up on the field, what is going through your mind as you're entering your second playoff game ever in your career?
You know, I think it was more so just embracing that moment, in Detroit. This was just one of the coolest weeks, build up to a football game I've probably been a part of. There was a lot of, added stuff to it, but at the same time, we knew, let's just play our brand of football. It was fun.
Back in January 2019, you were called up for the LA Chargers to kick a 53-yard field goal. It was good, by the way. This past Sunday, you were called up to hit a 54-yarder in the second half. The only points that Detroit would score in the second half came from this guy. What's going through your mind as you're stepping up to kick that ball?
You're kind of just going with the flow of the game. And obviously in the playoffs, it's, you need every single point and all points matter. So that was one where, it was exciting to get a long one off, but at the same time, just take care of your job. The offense did a good job of getting, whatever range you needed to get to, or just trying to go down and score, and we'll come clean it up if we have to, but it was take the points.
One of the most challenging positions on a football team with Dan Campbell as head coach might be kicker. How do you possibly prepare to go in and kick when you're like, hey, my head coach might go for it, like he typically does?
I think it's exciting. I come from just being an athlete and being a football player, so half the time I'm kind of just agreeing with him. I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. We're inside the 5-yard line, let's go for it. Even 2-point conversion, it's like, yeah, let's get more points, why not? But no, playing for Dan, it's super easy. You just kind of go out there, do your job, and he loves it.
Michael, break down the kicker mentality where you have to stay so even-keeled, but once you see that ball is good, you can let out a little bit of emotion.
Yeah, I think with those longer kicks, Dan does usually like to go for them. But I think when playoffs comes through, it's, just take the points when we can get them. And he's got confidence in our special teams unit, and especially when he sees it in practice. So kind of throughout the week of practice and you're hitting the long ones, making all your kicks, that gives him more ability to say like, hey, let's go out and kick this. The mentality doesn't really change much from what you go into with an extra point, but it is higher stakes because it is playoffs. So you want to make everything count. Because
you're up here, I have to ask, do you believe in the broadcaster jinx when they say, oh, this kicker has been perfect so far?
I want to say I don't.
But you have to blame someone.
Well, yeah, it happens so often, but at the same time, it's like, you kind of throw all that superstition and jinx stuff out the window when you play a position like I do. Because if it worked that way, why don't you just do the reverse jinx every time?
Correct.
So I kind of just throw all that stuff out the window.
Another big game this Sunday. This time it won't be at 8 p.m., it's at 3 p.m. and against the Bucks, a team that this team has already seen so far this season. You're not superstitious, but how much does that crowd need to really channel what it already did in the prior week? Yeah,
so I think it's one of those situations where there was a lot of that energy built up, and then all of a sudden you get to do that again. So I think it's gonna come and it's gonna be even louder, it's gonna be even crazier. So I don't think our crowd's gonna come in and not have the energy that they had the first game. I think, come loud, come with that same emotion. It's exciting, and we're excited about this year, and we get to do it one more time at home. So let's go out with a bang.